And former Trump executive and a very key voice in the New York Times piece, Barbara Ress, is here with me. She's also the author of All Alone on the 68th Floor, and so much to get to with you, Barbara. But first, your reaction when that article dropped, you opened it, you read it, was what?
I just thought it was fairly accurate. I was very surprised at what I read in there. I hadn't heard those kinds of things about Trump, but I didn't think it was a big deal, to be honest with you. I was surprised at the reaction.
Were there revelations for you? Did you read something and think, I cannot believe?
Yeah, I didn't like the comment asking a stranger if his daughter was hot. I thought that was a little extreme, and just the treatment of the pageant contestants was unusual to me. I didn't expect that.
How would you characterize your experience with the two writers who wrote the piece?
My experience was very good. I mean, I spent a lot of time with Michael, and he quoted me. I mean, a couple of things were a little bit out of context. Like when Donald called me Honey Bunch, that wasn't like, hey, honey, get me some coffee. It was a real term of endearment. We were very close, and I used to call him things too, and then we called each other other names on occasion. But I didn't think that was a particularly bad thing, and it sort of showed up in the article like
And yet the idea of context played such a big part in so many of these recollections, particularly in the workplace. In the piece, again, you were quoted as saying that Donald also implied that you'd gained weight. He said to you that you like your candy. He said he wanted people, you said that he wanted people to think that all women who worked for him were beautiful. Context is everything in these sorts of things. What sort of colleague, what sort of boss was Donald Trump, given that these are some things that he would say to you?
Well, I mean, those are things that he said to me later in my experience of working with him. At first, when I did Trump Tower, we were very, very close, and he never said anything denigrating or disrespectful. Later on, he sort of changed a little bit as he got more famous. And put in context, I mean, we had a very good relationship. He was a tough boss, very tough.
He was.
And when he got mad, he really, really got mad. I mean, it was scary. And, I tried to stand up to him, and I was a bit of a legend at the Plaza for standing up to him. But it was difficult.
Would you say he had issues with his anger?
Yes.
How so?
He got very, very angry, and I'm not sure that he could really control his anger at times.
Would it become physical?
One time at the Plaza, he pulled apart a door on a piece of furniture he didn't like, and he pulled it off, and he was very angry.
Did you ever fear for your physical safety?
Absolutely not.
Another one of the themes touched on in the New York Times piece is the idea, and it was something that you spoke to, that appearance and how that matters to him, especially with regard to representatives of his. Yesterday, as the piece and the reaction to it was being endlessly parsed, the question was asked, should past behavior inform how we feel about someone now? But I also wonder, in this campaign, we have seen the retweet by Donald Trump of a picture of Melania Trump alongside Heidi Cruz, looking, I guess one could say, less than optimal, right. with a caption saying, "A picture's worth 1,000 words." We've seen a debate inference of Donald Trump's, where he, well, regarding his manhood, I suppose one should say. So it's interesting because you laugh, and I can see that you genuinely think that's funny. Has he changed? Has the Donald Trump we are now seeing, who is capable of the behavior that the article suggests and that you speak to, is that man a changed man now?
A changed man in terms of being more presidential, or?
Well, is any of that disqualifying to you, in your opinion, as a presidential candidate?
Well, some of our presidents and presidential candidates have been pretty bad. So, I mean, in terms of whether it's disqualifying, it might be to me, because I think that the way you feel about women will translate into the way you act about issues that affect women. But I don't think that everybody is going to think it's disqualifying. As a matter of fact, I think he's trying to tap into a little basic resentment that there exists in some male voters. I mean, when he did that whole thing about Hillary playing the woman card and you can't talk to women anymore, you're afraid to talk to them, that was all trying to get into the underbelly of sexism that I think exists in our society, and trying to say, hey, men, it's okay to feel this way. Vote for me, I feel this way too.
Is it an act?
Is it an act? You know, it's so hard to tell with him what's an act and what's real, because I'm not sure that he even knows the difference. I mean, he goes in between these two worlds very fluidly. What I see on TV, especially in the debates, was very much what I saw in Donald.
Do you think he'll make a good president if elected?
I do not think that he would make a good president, especially for the women of this country. I think his policies are backward, and I think that he would bring us back and not forward. I think that we need somebody that's going to unite the country. I don't see that in Donald Trump.
Barbara Rest, we appreciate the time today.
My pleasure.